Well, hey everyone, MandaLynn back out here at the landing with you. I wanted to get a shot of the water, but the sun's just way too bright. Nothing but glare there. I think everybody has probably heard so many people talking about they've been on hiatus, they've been shifting, they've been in hermit mode, and I've been feeling this too, just kind of wanting to retreat away with myself. And there is a huge collective of us that's going through this very large shift, and we are shifting into the time of activity for sure. Dolores Cannon's been coming up a lot. Dolores Cannon and the Three Waves of the Volunteers. If you can read that, it will speak so much to you. There are videos on it on YouTube. But I'm beating around the bush. I have been through so much in my lifetime, this lifetime, as well as others. And why? Sharing these personal things are very tough, even when you've been through a lot of healing. And I think that it's time to share some things. My healing journey has contained a lot of pain, but it's contained a lot of blessings too. Had I not been that wounded creature, Eddie and I wouldn't have had the opportunity to heal together. We came together, two very wounded, broken, hurt people. And let me tell you, it was combustible at times. I never worried for 1 second about him laying a hand on me or hurting me, not in that way. But the emotions were very intense. Now, I first really started my true awakening in 2012. I was working at a government agency, and I just felt like I was lying to people. I felt like I was suffocating. And I just had to get out of there. So I left my job. I pulled my retirement out. And I truly retreated from society. Eddie took me commercial fishing with him, oyster tonging. It was such an amazing shifting experience. But to get more into this, when Eddie passed, we had saved the property from back taxes. The taxes hadn't been paid on the property in I think it was about 6 years. I entered a deal to have money payroll deducted, plus we made some lump sum payments. We had some forgiven. And at the end of it, the property was supposed to be put into at least Eddie's name, and there was always an excuse not to go. So 6 days after Eddie died, when Eddie passed, I didn't get the call from the coroner. I didn't get the call from the hospital when they took his body off. I mean, he was pronounced on the scene by a very good friend. And I still have to apologize to Pa. Man, we used to fish for, because he still won't tell me what I said to him when he pulled me away from Eddie's body. Perhaps I'll talk about that scene another time, in another place. I don't want to bring that hurt here. So I went running around in circles. I finally got a call from the funeral home. Found out his remains were at the funeral home. I had not released his body. And it was the holidays, and it was brought to me. I'm sorry, this is really uncomfortable, but it's so uncomfortable for me, but it's something that has to be done. His mother had released the body. There was a sheriff's deputy that was her friend, and he offered to start making calls right there in front of me, ignoring that I was standing there, knowing that I'm Eddie's legal wife. After the holidays, Tracy and I called the highway patrol, I called the hospital, I called the medical examiner, and I finally tracked it down to what had happened. And I found out that she had released the body, that they had gotten her number from her law enforcement friend, and that she had released the body to the funeral home, which I had no problems with the funeral home it was at, but it was like I didn't even exist. And when I confronted her with it, she told me to get the F out. Mind you, I had nothing in my name. I had, and she was old blood here, small town. So I went to Eddie's best friend, who he considered his brother, and I told him I've got nowhere to live. And he says, well, what about the main ship? A yacht that Eddie had scrapped, basically. And I went to open my mouth and put out an excuse, and I didn't have a good one. So, long story short, a lot of hurt. I had to give up my horses, the land that we had put so much work into. We were actually getting a spot ready in the back. Eddie was going to build a house. And I still ride by there, and so she went and had official eviction done. And it's real strange. They could find me to give me the judge's order from the court date, but they couldn't find me to serve me with a warrant saying I had a court date, or with a notification of a court date, not a warrant, two different things. And boy, the anger. I can't even tell you the anger. The place where I live now is that best friend of Eddie's. I didn't feel safe around members of my blood family. My life was threatened. I was belittled every day. And it worked out where I could come back home because Jeff told me, you're going to live on the boat, but this will always be your home. And so I came back home, and I'm so grateful for that. So just in that little bit that I have given you, there are some stories. The unlikely love story of mine and Eddie's. And Lord, it is filled with some adventure and a lot of laughter. A lot of laughter and a lot of healing. One that I've been working on, I am actually going to ask a friend if I can record it on their boat, is living and healing on a boat. I spent a couple of winters on that boat, and the second winter is what burned it to the waterline. That's a whole other story. So you can see, just in this little amount of time, since 2009, how much I've been through in my life. And that was my time with Eddie, and I went to him wounded. I found peace. And what I finally figured out is I went to look for the answers everywhere else. I tried to place the blame on everyone else. I was having a conversation with Shamash today, and that conversation was about the stages. When the offense or the action is done against you, you're a victim. They have taken your power, but you have allowed it to be taken. And that's very intricate, but it does come down to that. And so you're a victim because they hold your power. So when you start to not let them control your experience because of something that they did, not that they're doing, then you become a survivor. But you still see yourself as defined by that event. So they still have a certain amount of control. The stage after survivor is you're healed and you're whole. I'm kind of close, but no matter what we do, we're never going to be done healing and growing. So I do have a lot of healing stories. I will still keep up the messages from other energies and other realms. That's something that I couldn't quit if I wanted to. And I will be telling these stories and explaining to you what growth I experienced from it. I see myself as somebody that has made their way through a lot and is still cutting my way through the tall weeds. I think you see that pile of brush? It's taken me a couple weeks with a little set of hand clippers, but just a little bit at the time made that big pile right there. So I look forward to talking to you about these stories, and I hope that you receive them well. I need to share these stories because there are other people out there that are hurting. And hopefully this is going to bring on a whole new level of healing for myself as well as for you, because I don't necessarily look at subscribers and views on videos. What I care about is that my time, my message, my energy helps somebody, or even if it's just that they know somebody else is going through something. We're in this all together. If you are here, you were not voluntold. You did volunteer. And if that's something that you need to get to the bottom of, then these videos are going to be right up your alley. So let's come together as a healing community. And I welcome all of your comments, all of your encouragement, and sharing your experience. Again, my comment section is a place to connect. And so, everybody stay blessed. I'm sending you so much truth and so much light. And know that we're going to survive this shift, because there's another one coming after it. All right, till the next video, everybody just stay well.